So if I asked you the question, Sal, how would you introduce yourself and what you do to someone who's never met you before, like, or for the listeners, the watchers, like, how would you introduce yourself?
So I'd say, yeah, I'm Sal. I'm diagnosed autistic. I'm not diagnosed ADHD, but I'm self-diagnosed ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
I work as a counsellor, therapist, helping predominantly neurodivergent people to self-actualise, I guess.
Yeah. When did you qualify as a therapist?
The therapist. When did I qualify? 2018.
Okay. So pre-COVID lockdown?
Yeah, pre-COVID lockdown. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I did a psychology degree when I was 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
So that was quite a long time ago. 96. Yeah, 96 to 99. And then I worked in London as for a behaviour support team in Westminster.
Okay.
So I worked with kids who are at risk of exclusion, which was brilliant, honestly.
I bet that was interesting.
Oh, it was amazing. So how old was I? 21. So I moved down to Wimbledon in a shared house and worked in a multidisciplinary team with educational psychologists, teachers, learning support assistants, who with identified children who were at risk of exclusion. But Westminster is such an interesting area in London because it's massively diverse. So I'd go into schools that were, really struggling, poor economic status, and I'd also go into schools where they were very affluent. But all kids have issues, and I guess a lot of the kids I would have been working with would have been neurodivergent. Not knowing at the time, they wouldn't have been aware of it. The parents wouldn't have been aware of it. The teachers wouldn't have been aware of it. But yeah, so then doing projects with them or working one-to-one with them to keep them in school, really. So yeah, that's a great job.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it was good. And then I went to Swansea to do my teacher training, trained as a teacher, and then moved up to Salford, to live in Manchester to be a teacher because I wanted to work in one of the hardest places possible. I like that challenge. It was very hard. Did that for a couple of years before moving back to Preston. Continued being a teacher for 15 years. And then I always wanted to be a counsellor. Oh, right. When I did my psychology degree, I never really wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be an educational psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, it was like a 2-year master's. Or was it a year master's I would have had to do? And you had to be you had to do a master's, but you had to be a teacher for 2 years first. So I thought I'll just go into teaching for 2 years, then do a master's, and then become an educational psychologist. But I became a teacher and I loved it. So I stayed, and then I stayed too long. So I got to the point where it wasn't a master's anymore, they changed it to a PhD. And then I got to the point where I was either go and do a PhD, I was nearly 30, or I have children, and it was I have children. So went to do that. And then so when I was younger, a counsellor, which is what I really wanted to do, because that had been my role, like with my parents, with all these people at school. Everyone used to come to me for support, for listening. It's a natural thing that I've always done, really. It was seen to be not really a job that you could really get into, or it was really highly competitive. There weren't that many jobs. So I went down the road of educational psychology.
Right.
And then when teaching became too much, I kind of burnt out. It wasn't kind of aligned with my moral values anymore. I felt like I was damaging children more than I was helping them. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to pick them up the other end and do counselling.
Wow.
And then, just kind of had faith in myself, really, that would be something I'd be able to get into. And it's been a fairly kind of simplistic process, really. Did the diploma, got a job virtually straight away. But I did work for the wellbeing service, working with people in the community, helping them with benefits, helping them with listening, with strategies, sort of helping them more of a holistic, helping them with housing, stuff like that. So yeah, helping them in a holistic way to get back on their feet. That helped me. I work with people with quite complex mental health sometimes. That helped me get the job as a counsellor, for sure. Give me a lot of experience, lived experience.
Yeah. So you've had that experience of that real wraparound service, that, like you said, the holistic.
And that's what people need, really. But that was the frustration for me, is when I was doing that job, I wanted to do the counselling.
Okay.
Because I was more aligned to being a counsellor, really.
Yeah.
Some of that work I wasn't really that good at.
Right.
When I could do it, I could advocate for people, I could ring up social services, or I could go into housing and speak for them. Mm-hmm. But it's not my natural inclination, really.
Oh, interesting.
I was better at the counselling stuff. So I feel much more aligned now in my current role. I feel like it encompasses the whole of me. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing that I can't do. Whereas again, with the teaching, there was certain aspects of it that I was not that great at. Like display. God, I hated doing display.
What age group was it that you worked with?
7 to 11.
Also, it was this...
Year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6. So yeah, I taught in all those classes. Yeah.
Okay.
And the maths, obviously, that was a struggle to teach maths. I was teaching like higher end maths. Yeah. Which I actually had to learn like the night before, try and retain it for those lessons, and then I'd lose it because it's not naturally, for me, really.
No. I don't blame you with the maths.
Yeah. And then along the way, I guess, I have found neurodivergence. So from going to have no understanding at all or awareness that I might be autistic to them, I guess through my daughter, really, her struggling at school. And then thinking, there's something she's struggling with here that I don't recognise, and researching, going into it and saying, oh, actually, I think she might be autistic. And that was crazy for me, having no idea of what it was.
That opened up a whole new
it's
world.
Opened up a whole new world. And I actually got diagnosed before she did.
Oh,
amazingly.
Interesting.
Yeah, because of having to go through CAMS, for her going on the waiting list for an assessment. The adult pathway was quicker. So I got diagnosed before she did. And then, that's another story, all her assessment stuff that I might go into at some point. But this is where I am now in starting to work with people with neurodivergences, which has just naturally come about, really. I think there's more neurodivergent people. It's strange the way it's happened, really. I kind of went on my journey in the same time as other people have seemed to go on their journey with it. I don't know how that's happened, but more people come into therapy now who are neurodivergent, and me being able to recognise that in them and go, actually, I think you might be neurodivergent as well. But when I first started counselling, I didn't know. So there are some people that I'm working with now who still don't know I'm neurodivergent, because I've been working with them that long that I've been through the journey while I've still been counselling them. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So a whole wealth of experience, because you've got the young people, children aspect.
Yeah, education side. So I've got really great understanding of the education system.
The education.
Through that and through my own children's experience.
Yeah. And then supporting adults.
Yeah, with complex mental health issues.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how about you?
So I'm Justin Joseph. I am a counsellor also. So I qualified in, I think it was, my graduation was during COVID lockdown. So
really?
It was online.
Okay.
So I think it was 2020 actually, I qualified as a counsellor. And prior to that, so I've worked within the homeless sector. I've had so many different jobs. Sam,
oh, really?
Before. I've had so many. Because
classic ADHD.
I didn't know what I wanted to do for a job. So I've done working for the police. I've worked for I thought, okay, I want to be a firefighter. So I went down the London fire brigade route. I've worked in retail. I've worked in a milk factory.
Oh, really? Wow.
Worked in a hairdresser's.
Blimey.
Worked in toy shops and loads of different things. But because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. It was only when I started working in the homeless sector that I saw the power of being able to be with another human being, but the power of listening to them. And it's through that really where I was like, people were saying to me, oh, have you thought about counselling? And I'd brush that off as an idea, because because my mum is a counsellor, I thought, no, I want to follow my own path. And I didn't really know what counselling was. Mm-hmm. But it was one day I thought, let me give it a go. And I think I did the NVQ. I think it was a level 2 course in counselling. It was like counselling skills. And it just came really naturally to me. And I just really enjoyed it. So I thought, right, I'll do the degree. So I'd done the degree, qualified in 2020. And then my first job was during my final year. I managed to get a job in London working in a secondary school. And that really opened my eyes. I would say what you learn in counselling, I think you start to really become the counsellor when you start to do it. I started to find myself as a counsellor rather than it, because my degree was integrative counselling.
Oh, okay.
So fancy way, I guess, of saying that you're trained in different types of models or approaches, and then you just integrate that into the session as to what you feel would benefit the client or the person most. So for me, it was always like, oh, am I person-centered? Which one, but it was quite nice being able to actually just counsel, practice, just being myself and actually counselling another person. So from there, I worked in another secondary school. So I moved. So I'm originally from London, as you know, and then moved to Preston and got another job working in a secondary school there. So I really enjoyed that aspect, working with young people, actually. I like their honesty. I like the authenticity that comes with just turning up to a session and just like slumping in the chair, shouting or crying or saying what I love the
rawness of it.
Yeah. And just like if you're walking around the school, they say hello to you.
Yeah. And building that relationship sounds like.
Yeah. And I think that's probably what I missed the most as well, is like those relationships. You see them grow as well. So you can start working with, a young person from year 7 and then you see them leave school and you see how far, not just academically what they're doing, but within themselves, you've been a part of that journey.
Nice.
So, and yeah, also do private practice as well as a counsellor. So working with adults, young people. And yeah, it's been nice. I like the diversity, I think, of what counselling brings. Different walks of life, different ages, gender, there's just a whole mix that I found really helped me as a counsellor. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about where I guess I'm at now, really. And the neurodivergent, that's another part of me, and that now that I'm aware of that, how can I help empower others? And that's really helped as well within counselling, I would say, with clients or people who think, oh, I would like to have a counsellor who has awareness of ADHD or who is also neurodivergent. So that's really helped, I would say, as well within the counselling profession.
Right.
So, but I think it's really important that we mention that what we're discussing and that what we discuss is our own opinion, is our own journeys.
Just our own personal opinion.
Personal opinion. And that, we're looking forward to having guests come on, interviewing and talking and just sharing a little bit about that.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. So, like you're saying, I guess it's a bit of a disclaimer, really.
Yeah.
What we're saying isn't, we are experts, obviously, in our field of counselling, I guess. But with the neurodivergence, it's obviously something that's fairly new to us. Yeah. As well.
Yeah.
And the field of neurodivergence is obviously growing as well, and the understanding is growing. So at the moment, this is what we know, and just sharing that. But obviously, we're not experts in the field. We're not proclaiming to kind of be able to diagnose people or.
No. But hopefully, this will just be a place where we can share our fixations as well, like some of the things, because like you said, with ADHD and autism, we often send each other stuff, don't we?
Really?
Like research or videos or things that can help and support. So
it's helping each other, isn't it? Just to kind of widen that understanding.
Yeah, definitely.
Move everyone forward with it.
So hopefully that can
Cool.
This is what the NeuroGrowth project, and we've got the NeuroGrowth Podcast.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Great.
Excellent.
For people to come, where they can have that less pressure around financial stuff, maybe get support practically. And I'll talk a bit more about like my journey, how I've got to where I've got to now, and how that kind of informs what my kind of ethos is around that, what the vision is. But yeah, to support people in a kind of holistic way, to be able to self-actualize. That's the main goal, I guess.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So you mentioned a little bit about coming back to your journey. Do you want to share a little bit about that? How would you say it's been for you, like your journey within, with neurodiversity and yeah?
It's been difficult. It's been enlightening. It's been exciting. But yeah, it's been quite complex, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, but good overall. I think it's given me a sense of purpose, which is good. A bit more direction about what I want to go into and who the people are that I want to help. But at times it has been, challenging. Yeah. Don't know if you want to I can kind of say a little bit about yours.
Share a little bit. Yeah, so I think when I compare, because I think you were diagnosed a lot earlier than I was.
Yeah, only a few years though, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was August 2025 I was diagnosed with ADHD. And to be fair, I think that was a huge shock because it just wasn't on my radar at all. And I think ADHD was what I viewed ADHD was almost like, the typical naughty, that naughty boy in school, struggling to sit still. So that was my
perception of
what
someone might look like with ADHD.
Yeah. And just like my knowledge was so limited with it. So for me, there was a huge learning experience before the diagnosis. And when I did get diagnosed, there was a mixture of emotions, I would say, a mixture of feelings. There was huge amounts of validation for that little version of me at school that struggled. And there was something I could put it to.
Were you aware that you were struggling at the time, do you think, when you were younger?
So there was academic struggles, definitely. When I look back, I knew there were certain subjects that I really struggled in, like, for example, maths. Maths was a huge struggle for me. But I did have an awareness, I think. I remember having an awareness that I didn't feel like everybody else.
Okay.
I felt different and I couldn't really put my finger on it at the time.
So it was like a perception that everyone else was okay with this, that they were doing all right.
And it came easy.
Okay.
A lot of people were just able to go to a lesson, listen to the lesson, the teacher would tell them what to do and they just got on with it. And I just found myself always looking around. Okay. So there was academic struggles. And even when I look back, people used to say to me, I'd say quite openly, I struggled at school. But the reason I would say is because I would say that I wouldn't really listen.
Right, okay.
I would be talking to the person next to me.
Distracted.
Yeah. So there were things that were going on there that, we can link that back to ADHD now. But at the time, I just was like, I wasn't interested. There were certain subjects I really wasn't interested in, but the ones that I did, I was interested in, I felt like I did quite well in.
So that kind of offset it then?
Yeah.
Stuff that you were good at.
Yeah.
So that kind of kept your self-esteem a little bit more buoyant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yes, I feel like there was a huge amounts of validation for that. Like it was, for me, it was a moment where I felt like I was quite stupid as a child.
Oh, really? Wow.
So there was huge amounts of shame.
Okay.
That led to anxiety.
And did that filter through into other subjects as well? Because I know you said it was just like the maths stuff.
It was mainly maths because that was the area I felt the most weakest as a subject, but there were definitely like history, geography. There were subjects when I was just like, I just really...
So we felt bored?
Felt bored. I wasn't interested.
Did you struggle retaining information in those kind of subjects?
Yeah, because of the numbers. The numbers.
The dates.
Yeah, dates, numbers, equations. That was a huge struggle. Still is.
Yeah, me too. Okay, I resonate with that, yeah. So, maths is also not my strong point.
Yeah. So were there things for you though that you noticed, like when you look back on your journey that you can see Yeah,
looking back now, most definitely. But at the time, there's no way it wouldn't have even entered my consciousness that I might have been autistic or ADHD. Again, I think with you, the same. My perception of someone with autism or ADHD was mostly boys with higher end needs. Yeah. And I didn't really struggle academically to begin with. Not at primary school. I was pretty good really. I was kind of top of my class, but it was a lot easier back then, to be fair.
Okay.
The education system was, in my view, a lot easier than it is now. Okay. We had no homework to do. There were less expectations on us. There wasn't really any tests. We kind of chilled. And I used to kind of bring little toys in to school and I used to play with them. So
it was just pretty much like fidget toys of
today?
Sort of
or I'd be in like an inner world.
Okay.
I'd be doing something else. Mm-hmm. Like the teacher would be talking and we used to have a tray that we used to have books in. And I used to have my tray upward with little toys, characters, and just kind of playing with them. But then I'd be keeping up with all the work. I'd be ahead of everyone else. Right. In fact, some of the boys used to pass me their maths books. I'd do their maths for them.
Oh, really?
And then, sending them back.
Okay.
But that was when it was kind of low-level maths.
Right.
Yeah. I think I started struggling at secondary school. And maybe that was a lot of focus, concentration issues. Yeah, maybe that's when I started struggling.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. But even then, there was not really that much homework. I remember the maths test I used to have a lot of anxiety around that. But apart from that, I just kind of, blagged it really.
Okay.
But it was much easier to blag in those days.
Right. Okay. Because what do you think then in comparison that made it easier back then but more difficult now? I know you mentioned like the homework wasn't really a thing.
Not really. There was just less pressure, less academic pressure, less expectation, not the massive amounts of things that they try and get them to do nowadays. Like you have to learn like 15 poems or something for the English GCSE. Yeah. It was nothing like that. We didn't have even exams for English GCSE. We had it was just purely coursework. I was all right at coursework. Exams I wasn't good at because my memory was crap.
Same.
But yeah.
Dreaded exams.
Yeah.
Coursework, I'd prefer that 100%. Yeah. You know, like as we're talking about this, I'm thinking about that difference between, because you said you noticed it was secondary school. Uh-huh. And for me, it was the same. Secondary school, when I was in like primary school, for me, I didn't really feel like there were much struggles. But I'm noticing, obviously, there's a big shift, isn't there, there's like the expectation when you go to secondary school, it feels like it becomes really serious. More so. Does that kind of make sense? There's primary school, I feel like you can play. So I imagine when I was younger, being able to have that more outdoor time or more playing, there were probably certain things that you wouldn't be able to pick up with me with ADHD back then. I feel like maybe secondary school brought those parts out, more like homework, because then it's, I've got to remember my books as well. I've got to remember what books to pack. I've got to remember to do my homework. It's the increased load, isn't it? Yeah. And sometimes people don't realise that they are neurodivergent until the load increases past the capacity to kind of mask it, which is quite common. And for some people that can be high school, some people it can be college, some people it can be university, some people even past that. Yeah.
in the workplace.
Yeah. There are like moments, aren't there, where it's, because you think, like even university, you think of like living away from home, having to be independent, having to do the things that perhaps parents have done for you or guardians have done for you. And
having to do everything at once, learn new skills, do new things, and learn do a degree at the same time. And again, a degree is much harder now than it was when I was at university.
Right.
Like they didn't even do attendance when I was at university. I used to go in, get a tick on the attendance, get the handout, and walk straight out again.
Oh, really?
I virtually didn't go to any lectures at all.
Interesting.
Because I didn't know at the time that I found it unbearable to sit there. It was painful.
Yeah.
I just thought I don't know what I thought really. I just thought, I don't know, it wasn't for me or that it was hard, but I didn't have that awareness of that there might be something underlying there.
It's making me think of like the environments, you know, when I mentioned about like secondary school, you said about university having to sit there. The environments that perhaps
are not conducive.
Yeah.
To neurodivergence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how we struggle with them.
That whole notion of being neurodiverse in a neurotypical world, having to navigate that. And that's coming up for me as we're speaking about that, just thinking about the environments, the situations that we're in.
I think we're conditioned, aren't we, to function a certain way. But with neurodivergent people, our circadian rhythms are different. Our nervous system is different. We're not set up in the same way. We're not wired in the same way to function in a neurotypical world. And yet we're conditioning ourselves to try and do that. So I think sometimes when we get diagnosed, it's that, okay, we don't have to do this anymore. But then society is still expecting us to do it.
Yeah.
I know we'll come on to talk about reasonable adjustments at some point. But we can get reasonable adjustments put in place, but it doesn't change enough really of what we need it to make us be able to function in the way that we function better. So there's still that struggle, I think. Yeah.
Because it's even thinking about that reasonable adjustments, it feels...
It's such a non-phrase, isn't it? What even does that mean?
It feels like... I can't really explain it. It just feels like, you know, this is the way we do things, and here's a reasonable adjustment. Here's like this
is how we're going to help you.
Yeah.
We're going to decide for you on the ways that we can help you function better in our world. Well, ask us, what do we need? It's still
it still feels though like it's highlighting putting a spotlight on saying you're different.
You're not right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something I've picked up on, I think, like when talking to other people with ADHD, autism, dyslexia, etc. There's a huge amounts of shame that comes with that, of feeling like you're not good enough.
And so then it makes it hard to ask the reasonable adjustments, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, well, should I really be having them? Am I worthy of them? Should I not be able to function the same as everyone else? Yeah, I've got this diagnosis. Yeah, I've got this label. But you're not really hearing me what it actually means. It means that I can't do things in the way that you want me to or expect me to do. But you're giving me this little change or this little thing that might help me a little bit better. Well, actually, it's still not enough.
Yeah. So would you say then that we've come on quite a bit in terms of our awareness of neurodiversity, but there's still quite a bit to go in terms of the work stuff as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Into really accommodating people's needs.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And the perception of actually what it means to be neurodivergent. To have these conditions.
Yeah. Would you say that, because I know for myself, even as a profession, as a counsellor, it's really supported me, I would say, with being quite empathetic.
Yeah, for sure.
The ADHD, I feel like I'm very emotion-led.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
When I reflect back, even though there can be a lot that goes on in my head.
A lot of thoughts.
Yeah, a lot of thoughts. What feels kind of described as like fizzy. It can feel, when I have those moments where it's like a lot of activity goes on in my mind, or what can feel like you've got loads of tabs open. I still feel like I'm quite emotion led, but I do find that that's really helped me to be quite empathetic, I would say. And I wanted to find out just how have you found that? Do you find that as a strength? Do you find that as not a strength? Like, how would you describe it's been?
Yeah, I think it's slightly different for me. I know we've compared this before, haven't we, the difference between me being autistic and ADHD and you being ADHD.
Yeah.
Is that my emotional state is quite different, I think. I can be very empathic, but also I can be quite distant from my emotions.
Okay, yeah.
So I wouldn't describe myself as being emotion-led at all. Probably the opposite of that.
Okay, yeah.
Cerebrally led. And then the emotions kind of are there somewhere and might come at a later stage. So that can be both challenging and beneficial, I'd say.
Yeah.
But in terms of the counselling, again, I can be very empathic, but also it helps me to kind of compartmentalise that and detach a little bit, not to sort of be flooded with the emotion.
Do you find that there's that conflict? You know, like the ADHD and autism that can, like, do you find that there is any struggles with that in terms of there being conflicts? Like, for example, for me, I with the ADHD, I recognise there's quite a lot I love the spontaneity of things.
You need the spontaneity.
Yeah. I feel like it gives me quite a big dopamine hit. The change, or like something being like, oh, should we just go to the cinema? You know, just very last minute decisions. I really love those moments.
Do you need a lot of those, would you say?
I wouldn't say a lot of them, but I would say that I do definitely need them moments. I feel like I need that. I feel like it shakes life up a bit.
What would happen if you didn't have those moments, do you think?
I'd just be very bored.
And then what would happen?
I feel like, honestly, I feel like if I got to that point where it felt very bored, I would feel like I would question a lot in
your
life.
existence.
Yeah, I'd go really into. I'd start
an existential crisis point.
It's like, what's the point in this? There's no joy.
Yeah,
like it would be. I would start. Yeah, because I've been to that place.
I was going to say, have you been to that place? I felt like you'd recognise that place.
Yeah, where I've been in roles where it's the same every day, start, same time, same job. There's not been that shaken
variation, variety.
And then I've just gone to that like place where it's like, it feels like this is the Matrix, you know, where you're just doing the same, like it's just like, so yeah, there's, for me, it's really important to have that, but it took me a while to recognise that.
That's what it is.
Because then I go back to that place of feeling like there's something wrong with me. Why is everyone else able to do that?
Yeah.
Why does everyone else seem like it's okay? Is there something wrong with me if I'm not being content with what feels like the mundane? Yeah.
And then that can be a huge strength, of course, because it makes you more creative, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's where the strength comes in with the neurodivergent people. Yes, is that because we have these needs and need for that, it gives us that motivation to do things in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. But it took me a long time, I would say, to really pinpoint that.
Yeah, and I think it's about being secure enough in yourself to recognise that actually I'm okay like this. This is okay.
Yeah. So there's an acceptance level.
And how can I use this now as a strength?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a huge, I would say now there's a lot more acceptance and also permission, I would say. I think that's quite an important part, that sometimes as someone who is neurodiverse, there will be things that you don't like about yourself, or things that you do, or the way that you behave as part of that. But I think there's a huge amount of validation, or, you know, you just give yourself permission. Like I know for example, for myself, there's moments where like I said, there's loads of tabs open in my head, or I feel really overwhelmed. And sometimes I give myself permission to feel that.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most fundamental aspects of it, I think, is we need to stop trying to be something different than what we are.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I find clients struggle, is that, okay, yeah, they get this diagnosis, they have this understanding now, okay, I'm different, but then there's still the drive to do things the same way as they were doing before in a neurotypical way.
Yeah.
But just with maybe a little bit more compassion. Actually, I think we need to do things differently. That's the crux of it. You can't do things in the same way. Otherwise, you do end up getting burnt out.
Yeah. And I think that word you mentioned there is really important, compassion. Giving yourself that compassion to say it's okay. It's okay to be who you are. It's okay
to do things differently.
And
break the mould.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's wrong.
No, it can mean it's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's some of the problem with the education system, is it's become more that way.
More sort of, this is right,
prescribed
this is
wrong. Into this is the way you need to do things. These are the things you need to learn. You need to learn them in this way. You need to learn the volume of it. Whereas when I was at school, it was very easy, very open. And I think as well, the way the world was society-wise was also a lot easier. Like when I was growing up, there was no I remember bringing my kids up. My kids are 18 and 15. And you used to go into Toys R Us and there was the blue section and there was the pink section. Okay. When I grew up, it wasn't like that.
It was just all together.
It was all together.
Oh, right. Okay.
I grew up, my older brother, he's autistic. So he was quite dominant and he was very fixated on stuff that he liked. So I would get very much led by what he wanted to do, which was football, Sabutio, top trumps, football. And because I was quite high masculine, I think I just kind of went along with that anyway. Played snooker and stuff. I played chess as well. But that was okay then. At worst, you were a tomboy. But no one would comment.
Right.
Nowadays, you would get people judging you or the kids kind of looking at you like the wrong way, like you were doing something wrong. But in those days, it was quite cool to be like that. So I didn't really grow up thinking that was wrong or that wasn't right for my gender. It wasn't like that, really. I didn't really play with dolls or... I remember going around to a girl's house around the corner and she was playing My Little Pony and I was like, I don't know what to do with these. But I didn't really think that was wrong necessarily, just that we were different and that was kind of okay.
That was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what's interesting because you were in that place of that's okay.
Yeah, because there was less society pressure, I think. Yeah. To be very gender stereotype.
Okay.
Back in the late 70s, 80s when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Whereas now I think it's very polarised. Girls have to be, with the makeup, the hair, very presented like girls. And... more
fixed in, like you said, with the schools, like you linked that.
Yeah, like a gender stereotype.
Yeah. So
and if you're not that, then you're not female or you're not male. But there are loads of different ways that you can identify as female and you can identify as male.
Right.
Which I think I grew into as I got older. I think some of the pressure of being looking a certain way as a female, I did struggle with that at times. But then I sort of grew into, okay, I can be a woman and still like stereotypical male things.
Yeah. Because like you said, I remember that at school. It was if there was a girl or a female that dressed more, what we would say boyish, like tomboy. That's the place we'd go to, but it wouldn't be
derogatory.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like a like that's an issue.
Yeah, but I think now there is. Right. I think there's much more judgment if you don't look the part, or you don't look like you should look. And that I think that leads to quite a lot of gender identity issues or maybe identity issues. Yeah, potentially.
So do you think then, with that being said, like, because you mentioned about the education.
Yeah, I can't remember where I've tangented off to now.
That's fine.
That was a question,
there's going to be tangents. But we have to accept that. There's going to be loads of tangents for us. yeah, I think about, like you said there, like things are more fixed. This is how you learn. This is the way you learn. This is the setting in which you learn. Mm-hmm. Sit down, listen, speak when there's moments when we give you permission to speak.
Which is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a ridiculous idea. I mean, humans are not supposed to function in that way. To be told to speak when we're supposed to be spoken to. And I think that sometimes that's where neurodivergent people can struggle in school.
Yeah.
And they're seen as maybe demand avoidant or not being able to conform to authority. I mean, really, it's not a natural state to do that. To be inside for, 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
Being told when you can go to the toilet, being told when you can have a drink, being told when you can eat.
When you can stand up, stretch your legs.
I mean, what is that?
Around, yeah. Yeah.
And then we're wondering why more kids are struggling in school now. So. Yeah.
And like you said about that demand avoidance.
Demand avoidance.
Do you want to share a little bit about what that is? How you would describe that?
Yeah, so I guess some people call it pathological demand avoidance. So it's where you feel like something is a demand and your nervous system just kind of can't tolerate that.
Okay.
It brings up like a trigger or activation in your nervous system, which makes you kind of resist that or kind of really sometimes really strongly resist that. And then you can't do it. You're not able to do it.
Right, okay. So is that... Because we've had a bit of a laugh with that when we... I
think you've got to laugh about it, haven't you? Because it comes up so much, so frequently. And the way you can get sort of demand avoidant against yourself as well, against your own demands that you put on yourself is quite amusing at times.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of like, when it's the new year.
Yeah, I love that.
And everyone says, Happy New Year. But like,
we hate that, don't we?
Yeah, because when you go back to work...
It's the expectation.
There's that expectation as like the first thing you see, or so yeah. We did like, I think we did almost like a little bit of an experiment where we refused to say it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. But that's great, isn't it? To give yourself permission. I think probably that's the first time I've done that. To actually, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
And I think I actually said to my colleague, "Yeah, I'm not going to say that to you."
Yeah, you did. I remember that
because it just feels not authentic to me. And I think sometimes where that's the demand avoidance can come in is when it's not authentic. It's not authentic social exchange. I think neurodivergent people can struggle with that, the lack of authenticity.
Yes. Yeah. Like keeping things superficial. I've noticed that comes out in conversation. Like I'd much rather have a deeper conversation with someone rather than like I'm aware of that. Oh yeah, the weather. And like when I go to that place, I'm doing that to make the other person feel comfortable. But I don't feel like I'm a bit. You're
making yourself uncomfortable, aren't you, by doing that?
Yeah,
which is masking, isn't it? That's what you're talking about, really.
Yeah, definitely.
And why do we do that? Why do we mask?
Good question.
But it's part of that, isn't it? Making other people feel comfortable.
Well, yeah. And to feel like that, probably as well to fit in.
To be liked.
Yeah.
To avoid rejection.
Yeah, to avoid the spotlight. To feel like, to feel different, to be seen as I'm not part. Because I feel like there is there's a part of us as humans that we want to be in community with people.
Like we're hardwired.
Yeah.
It's survival, isn't it? A lot of that.
Yeah.
So we do it because if you're not accepted by the group, you're essentially going to die, aren't you? Because you're not going to get fed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not going to get a shelter. Yeah. So we're kind of hardwired biologically to do that to some extent, aren't we?
Yeah. That's what I feel like. We're not, there's not that part of us that, even though like there are some, like I can admit that at times I feel like I'm a bit of a lone wolf. And I like that. I like my own space. I like my own time. I like being around people, but then I have a social battery. There's a moment where it's like, I need to be by myself. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if that was my everyday, I would really struggle with that. I recognize that I like this, what we're doing. I like the conversation. I like being around people, but...
It's because ADHD is interest-based though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if it's something you're interested in, you're going to be okay with that and it's not going to drain you potentially.
No. But the masking does.
Yeah.
And that comes up a lot for people, doesn't it, that do masks, is that
it's exhausting.
It takes a lot. It's draining. And
it is draining.
And that can come up, I think, when I was working in schools quite a bit. There were, as a counsellor, I'd get some phone calls from parents or teachers, and so the parents would say, oh, they're fine at school. And the moment they come home, there's anger, there's sadness, there's
all the emotions
all the emotions. And
yeah.
But when you sit and, like, I've had the privilege of being able to speak to some of these children and actually find out their stories, and they're saying that when they're at school, they feel like they have to fit in and mask. But when they go home, that's their safe space where they can feel comfortable, where they can drop the mask.
I think it's called restraint collapse.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
okay. So that moment where you're dropping that, but then you're getting all the
emotions, everything you've been shoving down.
Yeah.
And probably the emotion on top of that, like shame would be a big one, wouldn't it, for that, I suppose?
That's a big one, yeah.
And then they have the meltdown, which brings up more shame. Why am I? And not knowing why you're feeling like that. Not knowing why you're having a meltdown.
Yeah. It's just having that understanding, isn't it, there? I think having that knowledge really, really can support, because I'd imagine, you know, like being in that situation as a parent is really difficult.
Yeah, and I've been in that situation. Obviously, my daughter is neurodivergent, autistic, ADHD as well. And I've definitely been in that situation. And I didn't have any awareness then of what it was. I didn't have a clue that she might be autistic or ADHD. Because I didn't have any knowledge or awareness as a parent. I mean, I've been a teacher for a long time. But again, the kids that were maybe ADHD, autistic, was fit a certain stereotype. There's probably loads of kids that I've missed, to be honest, of knowing the neurodivergent. But yeah, I definitely missed that in her. And she would have that, she'd have massive anxiety before she went to school every day, which would, I didn't really realise it was anxiety, to be honest. It would play out as being like resistance or delaying or being emotional. And then there would definitely be the restraint collapse after school. But I didn't know what it was.
You didn't know at the time, did you? Yeah.
I just used to get into the habit of bringing her like a little chocolate bar to school to pick her up, because that would help sort of give her that bit of sugar to get her home with. So I learned to adapt to kind of trying to, you know, pacify her, I suppose. But yeah, it was hard. Yeah. It was really hard.
Yeah.
Had I have known, I would have approached it completely differently, of course. So I think that's where knowledge and understanding is key, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Which I guess back to the NeuroGrowth Project, get a full circle.
Full circle.
This is where we want to be, isn't it? Helping people to understand what's going on for them, helping to support them with their children, with themselves, to live an easier, better life and to self-actualise.
Yeah. I love that. I love that vision. I love the word that's to self-actualise.
So, yeah, so the podcast, what's your vision for that one, Justine, do you think? I would say to have a place where we can have guests on, where we can just have an open conversation about what it is that they do within different sectors. For example, like if it's within the education sector or within, you know, healthcare.
Like healthcare, yeah. So I think my goal is just having different people come on to talk a little bit about their journeys,
their area of expertise,
and how they can support neurodivergent people, as well. Because I really want this to be a place where listeners, just as well as like they're listening, obviously, to us and our journeys and other people's, but they get something out of it as well.
They learn something.
They can take something away from it and say, okay, let me give that a go. If that's something, or I didn't know that. You know, like how there've been moments that we've spoken about through our journeys. Had we had that knowledge
and understanding,
it would have made a huge difference. And I think there's you mentioned about being a mum. You know, if we had, say, for example, a mum who has a specialism in supporting children, for example, or that's her role. You know, I think that can be a huge win. Yeah, she's validated for people to hear someone else's kind of experience, what they've been through and their knowledge and expertise. Yeah. That'll help them. Definitely. So that obviously means that's helped you then, if that's something that you want for other people. Yeah.
And knowledge and understanding. He said that's been hugely beneficial for you.
Yeah.
To learn more about the impact of neurodivergence in different areas.
Yeah, I feel like it's just, it's just the awareness. And you'd probably find this as well. Like as a counsellor, a lot of what we do is helping others to become more aware of things and the power that comes from that. Mm-hmm. I feel like the awareness gives you a big sense of choice as well. It empowers you to...
Empowerment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. And...
to make those decisions for your own life.
Yep.
If you're aware of what the issues are that you're facing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So... And
then tips and stuff that other people have been through and found. Because this is a growing area, isn't it? And other people are maybe slightly ahead or have found different ways, different hacks, different things that have worked for them. And it's about creating a community, isn't it? Where we can share those things that have worked for different people. It might work for you, might not work for you, but...
Yeah. Because it's, like the tips, like you mentioned, some people might not be in a position where they can afford an ADHD coach or a counsellor who specialises in autism or, so I really would like it to just be a place where we're able to offer that service. And just that free space, a free-flowing space of tangents.
Acceptance.
Of acceptance.
And I think that's where our strength is, though, isn't it? As counsellors, and having obviously done a lot of work ourselves, even before we were diagnosed, really. Yeah,
that's true.
Becoming a person. An authentic person. Becoming okay with ourselves. That it's a gift, isn't it? It's a gift that we can maybe share with other people. We're okay being who we are. Mm-hmm. And hopefully people seeing that will help them to become more comfortable with who they are as a person. Yeah. So I'm going to try not to kind of mask too much. Because I have a few tics maybe sometimes, bit of anxiety. So I'm going to try and just be as authentic and as natural as possible. And that'd be okay, be acceptable.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
It's good for people to see. So try to stop masking is hard. It's hard.
Yeah. I think it's like I said earlier, like the being up here versus being down here in your gut and in your mind. I feel like this is where I do my best work for me personally.
Okay, interesting.
This is where, like if I'm sitting with a client, this is where I do my best work. If I'm up here.
Are you conscious then of that when you shift?
Yeah, I can feel that shift.
Really?
Yeah, I can feel it, Or, I can definitely feel a moment, like you said, the shift where I have moments where I'm like, wait, where am I? Like, what am I doing? Where am I at?
Would you describe that as kind of being in flow? You're out of your head, you're just doing instinctively. Yeah. You're with the client, you're immersed in it. Yeah. When I'm up here, is when I'm like asking loads of questions, or I go to a place of, what do I need to do? Right, okay. That's when I know I'm up here. But when I'm able to sit and be and just relax into it and be present, then I know that I'm working down here. So that means you're not conscious of yourself in that moment? Yeah. 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 So it's coming from more of a flow state. Yeah. Whereas when I look... An authentic state, isn't it? That's a gift you can give because you've done all that work on yourself. Yeah. So you're coming from a place of authenticity. Whereas I recognise I used to get huge amounts of anxiety being in social situations because I knew, or I felt like I couldn't be my authentic self. More so. How is that now for you? It's not as big, I would say, but there are definitely moments, but I'm more aware of it. Whereas back then it would just be, I'm in it. Yeah. And would you feel the effects afterwards then? So you'd feel exhausted, or you'd feel ashamed, or you'd be overthinking. I'd start playing back conversations and the way that I said things. Mm-hmm. What could I have said differently? Oh, I should have said that. I used to have loads of moments where I'd I recognise that too. Reflect back on what I should have said or what I could have said. And what would that be, do you think? I could have said, I should have said. For what? To be more acceptable, to avoid rejection, or to be socially acceptable, is it? Yeah, I think so. I think all of those things would come in for me. What, you're avoiding being weird? people seeing you as different?
Yeah. Because if it was embraced, like I look around now in the people in my life, and it's quite funny because at the time I would be really attracted to friendships that were very similar to me as a person, or I felt
aligned with.
Yeah. And there were a few people along the way who have actually been diagnosed. Now.
As neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that.
You weren't aware of it though at the time, obviously, in yourself or in that other person.
No, yeah.
But there was some click, some gelling.
Yeah. So it's been quite interesting to even reflect and be like, well, what is that? Because that comes up, doesn't that? Quite a bit, like relationships or friendships. Neurodivergent people will tend to just
gravitate to each other.
You know, and I do believe it's because there's internally, perhaps there's something that recognizes with another person that
it's almost an unconscious thing, isn't it?
It's an unconscious thing, yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
But I think it's the way our brains work. It's literally like a different operating system. We speak a different language, I think. That was the first one of the things I noticed about you when you first started working with me, or we started working together, is that we clicked almost instantaneously, I think.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a shared understanding, a shared kind of language.
Yeah.
A shared humour.
That's true.
Ease.
Yeah, there was a massive ease. And at the time, you know, and that meeting was a massive and a huge part of my journey now. Like even recognizing the things like the shared journey, like when we used to talk and share, like you used to share a little bit about your journey or what you experienced, and I'd be saying or thinking, that's so similar to what it's been like for me, or I experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
But without that, I still think I would have been under the illusion in a way of, no, it's not ADHD, it's that, or it's something else. Like when I remember we used to talk a little bit about fidgeting, or
like in meetings.
Yeah, but for years I've had struggles with like picking my hands, my nails, biting my nails,
picking my nail.
You know, that's been a huge thing, and it's not an anxiety thing, because it will happen when I'm watching movies.
Yeah, you're not feeling anxious.
I'm not feeling anxious, but but that's something when I went through the diagnosis, you have to meet certain criteria. Like if you go to the GP, they'll ask you questions, or if you go on the DSM-5 and you have a look at the criteria. What I related to more was people's journeys with ADHD that didn't necessarily meet that criteria.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So there could be, you know, it could ask you things like struggling to sit still for long periods of time. When I read that, I thought, no, I don't struggle with that, because I can sit in meetings. I'm a counsellor. I can sit with a client for an hour at a time. But it's only when I really reflected on what is that actually like for me?
Yeah.
Being
sat. How are you coping with that?
And I think that's the question you asked me that made me think that. But how do you actually cope with that when you're sat in a meeting for an hour in one spot?
How are you managing to do that?
Yeah.
And how are you afterwards? Do you have that restraint collapse?
I don't think I was aware of that.
No.
I wasn't even aware it was a thing, or even that there was a term until you mentioned it. So yeah.
You just think you are what you are, don't you? But then you suffer the consequences of that, whether that's an anxiety before you do stuff, or a burnout later, tiredness, fatigue, shut down, sometimes going non-verbal.
Yeah.
I was definitely non-verbal last night.
Really?
After a full week of work, I was like, I cannot speak. Yeah. And one of my friends messaged me, so we've not spoke for a while, and she was, do you fancy doing a FaceTime now? I'm thinking, do you know me at all? I'm like, no, I can't do that now spontaneously after a full week of work. I just know.
No.
But then that brings up other issues around, am I comfortable with telling her that? Being open, being honest, unmasking.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't. True. I wasn't still. I was still kind of people pleasing. How can I say this in a nice way that's not going to offend her, but it's also going to honour my needs. Whereas in the past, I would have gone, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Because I feel like I need to be there for people, to people please, or to not be strange, not be weird, not to be different.
Yeah.
Where I had to kind of bend the truth a little bit. I felt I needed to bend the truth a little bit of why I couldn't do it. I tried to be as honest as I could be, but I just felt like she wouldn't really understand that.
I was going to say that as well. I was going to ask, is that because there's like we give a reason, or you're more likely to kind of give a reason that's, like you said, more understanding.
It's not palatable.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of not wanting to upset her or wanting to not offend her. So I'm thinking she won't get it, or she might internalise that as being something about her or about the relationship when it isn't.
So it takes it more personally.
For sure.
Rather than recognising that this is...
It's just a need for me.
A need, yeah.
Yeah, or it's a capacity.
Right.
I've reached my capacity for that day.
Do you feel like you would feel more okay with saying that to someone who is also neurodivergent and who would get that?
Course.
Right, okay.
They would also automatically understand it. Like I have another friend that I'm close to who I'll just write, I'm NV, I'm non-verbal. And I'll be laughing.
Oh, right, okay. Because you got that, that shared on...
Yeah. I know it's not about them or... And they understand exactly where that comes from or why that's happened. And that makes me feel comfortable and obviously okay with doing that. There's no shame around it. I think there was some shame around it for sure. I'm thinking, why can't I do that? The expectation is from the other person that that's a normal thing to do. To just have that spontaneous phone call. It's not a big deal. For me, that is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like I remember in the past, like when I was a teacher particularly, weekend I wouldn't speak hardly at all. I didn't know why. I just kind of shut down. But when my husband at the time would ask me to kind of ring up to get a takeaway, I couldn't do it. I couldn't ring up. I couldn't make that phone call.
Right.
But I didn't know why. And obviously the shame around kind of, okay, I'm socially inept or why can't I do this? It's an easy thing to do. But it's because I'd been speaking all week. I'd shut down. Right,
okay. But at the time, was you aware that was...
No, not at all. I had no idea.
It's interesting,
No idea. I used to think I was lazy or like in the 6-week holiday, I used to like do nothing virtually, just like really, really tired. But I'd be really productive in term time, obviously. And I think that's where the ADHD comes into its for, is being really productive, being really able to do things, high demand stuff, really. But then there's, again, that restraint collapse of, okay, now I can't do anything for the next 6 weeks. Which I think that's doing the teaching actually maybe masked some of it because I was having that really long periods of time off work where I could just do nothing. There was a shame around that. There was why am I so lethargic or why am I so lazy? Why can't I function? Especially when I've been so high functioning for the term time. There was a confusion about that. But it did stop me from having that constant burnout, I think. The regular breaks.
The regular breaks, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it kind of makes me want to tangent.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Let's go.
On like the importance of regular breaks and how that could be a reasonable adjustment in a sense.
Yeah, sure.
But it's, because I think it raises a good point because whereas some people might be in jobs where they don't have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And recognising...
Most of the time, isn't it? It's like you have to book annual leave.
Yeah. Or at times people might have to call in sick if they reach that burnout.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's really important. And again, it's that awareness. Because you mentioned about shame, and that word...
It's come up a lot,
has come up a lot.
Yeah.
But also I recognise that comes up a lot. And maybe not the word in particular, but the whole thing of what shame is comes up a lot in sessions in the therapy room when I have counselled people who have ADHD, autism, who are neurodivergent, you know, and I remember that came up a lot in the schools around dyslexia.
Okay.
As an area that was, but again, it's the shame. And I think that I wanted to ask you, is that something that you've encountered?
Personally myself or with clients?
With clients, because you mentioned about that you felt that shame. I felt that shame. Especially, being a child, trying to go through the whole school system. That was really difficult. But yeah, would you say that you've picked up on that as well?
Oh
within
yeah,
client
absolutely,
work as well?
100%. There's a huge amount of shame for being in the authentic self, really. And I work with a lot of people who are still really high masking, and I've not found that authentic self yet, or they're scared to become their authentic self because that's been rejected so much by other people.
Yeah.
And by people, you know, who you expect not to be not accepted by, like parents, grandparents, teachers, peers.
Yeah.
So it's very deep, some of that shame, really. I'm not acceptable as my true authentic self.
Yeah.
Because I'm naughty, I'm bad, I'm lazy.
You're too loud, you're too sensitive, you're too energetic, you're too much.
You're too much. Yeah. You're too much. Or you're not enough.
Yeah.
And I think, sometimes, I know you were asking before about the conflict between the ADHD and the autism.
Yeah.
It's the being too much and also being not enough at the same time.
Okay.
I don't know whether you've experienced that with ADHD.
Say a bit more. What do you mean when you said too much? Or
too much. So your needs are too much, too demanding.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes my ADHD traits come out. You'll notice that I've interrupted you a few times, or I've finished your sentences. I will do that if I can preempt in what you're going to say. And it can be really annoying for people. I'm aware that it can be really annoying. So in that sense, you're kind of being a bit too much, being a bit too full on.
Right.
I can get very, in relationships, quite full on, quite extreme. I'm needing that constant. If you're my friend, I will be messaging you a lot. I'll need that constant contact with you.
Okay.
Which can be too much for some people, for sure. But then on the flip side of that, with the autism, when I shut down and I'm not able to be there consistently for people, then there's that feeling of, okay, I'm not enough now. Not enough people want, like, for example, the friend last night who wanted me to speak to them. I couldn't do that for them. So then you're feeling like, okay, I'm not enough of a friend. I'm not a good enough friend.
Interesting.
There are a lot of times I can't go long distances or can't drive on the motorway sometimes for unfamiliar places. So there's things I've not been able to do that maybe other people have expected that I should be able to do. So then that kind of makes that feel, I'm not enough as a person.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm trying to reflect on, because when you asked me that, if that's something I've experienced.
With the ADHD?
Yeah. I think it's come up. I think it's come out. Like I definitely recognise that part of me that can be quite intense in relationships, like the messaging.
You have fixate on people.
Yeah. Or sort of I can get really, when I reflect back on previous like relationships, I can recognise, like hyperfixating, like I'll be talking to them throughout the whole night. Do you remember, you'll probably remember this, do you remember when like if you would hang up before it got to the hour, then you wouldn't get charged on the phone or something? So I remember I used to do that a lot, like with like if I had a girlfriend, I'd be talking on the phone, but I'd be looking at the time and I'd be like, all right, it's 59. I'd hang up and then we'd do it again. But I'd be so fixated on like, this is the best thing ever. This is the best feeling.
It's a feeling, isn't it?
It's that feeling.
So is it the dopamine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then nothing else mattered.
No.
Even if...
Nothing else exists though, does it? No. In that moment.
It's just like, this is the most... Yeah, this is the most important thing. I remember having moments where I did feel like, I don't feel like I could... I felt like I was too much in relationships, not just with the intensity of that, but I just felt like there was an issue in terms of what I wanted as part of a relationship. Nobody could meet that need. The needs, isn't it? There were needs. I thought there's nobody that could meet that. Or, you know, with the love languages and stuff like that, I'd be like, what you need from somebody. Yeah. And I got to a place where I was like, oh, maybe I am just too much for another person. So I definitely can relate to that. Yeah. And what about the flip side then? They're not enough. The not enough came out more in school. In the education. Not clever enough. Yeah. And it comes out in work as well. Yeah. Of like, if I go to a new workplace, if I start a job, there's that, I feel like I've got to prove to myself. There's that failure script there, I think, with me. And I recognise that does go back to secondary school. of not feeling like I was good enough, not being smart enough, comparing myself to other friends, even like being part of, in school, you've got like the popular crowd, or you've got like those that are more seen as like outside of that.
Yeah.
I never really felt like where
you fit.
I think
that's a common experience,
Yeah. I can definitely see that.
People. Yeah. I definitely flitted between groups. I didn't have like a set group that I was kind of part of. I was comfortable with that, really. Yeah. I like that.
Okay.
Gives you some sense of maybe empowerment or autonomy. Yeah. Don't want to fit anywhere.
Yeah. Whereas I felt quite lost with that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I felt like I needed to find somewhere. So I would flit.
Yeah.
But it's almost like I reached a point where within that group, I didn't feel I did fit in. Enough. And then go somewhere else. But for me, I think the dynamic that existed was also the ethnicity side for me, being mixed race. You'd find like there were certain groups that could congregate together.
Yeah.
But I would be like, I don't really feel like I can, like, where do I fit in?
It's like there
was a cultural element there as well. So, but if there was counselling on offer, I definitely think that would have been something that supported me. Because I feel like, if I had a safe space where I could just
explore some of those feelings.
Yeah.
But there wasn't that at your school?
There wasn't that, but what we did have at school was learning support.
Oh, okay.
So, like you can pick your subjects. So one of the subjects you could pick at my school was learning support.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's strange.
Even picking that, there was quite a bit of shame.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
But I picked it because I recognised I really struggle with homework.
That's great.
I really struggle in lessons.
Yeah.
And having like, my mum was a huge support as well throughout that. Sat down with me to do homework. There were even times where, when you said about what was the term that you used when you go home and you just
restraint collapse.
Yeah. I remember for drama, we had to write reflective logs of the lesson. I remember just used to sit there and telling my mum what happened. She'd write it all down.
Oh, okay.
She'd just write the whole thing for me because she recognised how much of a struggle that was.
Yeah, that's cute.
But the learning support, that was a place where I actually felt really accepted because I was with other people that struggled in different areas and I didn't feel different and I didn't feel like it was a problem. So in a sense, even though that wasn't counselling, it was very healing and I would say quite a therapeutic way to be with human to human and feel validation, compassion, acceptance, the permission to be me.
Nice.
And it wasn't seen as a problem. And that really helped. Yeah. So that was a thing back then. You could actually pick as
amazing.
A subject.
I'm surprised. Yeah, that's great though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So again, like full circle back to the NeuroGrowth Project.
Full circle.
That's what we wanted to create, isn't it, for people? All those
100%.
Acceptance, understanding, support.
Yeah.
Because people might not have parents who can do that for them.
No.
Or peers or friends. A lot of people are socially isolated, aren't they? Neurodivergent people. Yeah. Especially autistic people.
100%. So that's our vision. We've gone full circle.
Nice.
That's our vision.